When you are.
Okay, Mayor, members of the council, thank you very much. Go Chiefs, right? Our first speaker tonight will be Eugene Suter to present the 2022 summary of Big Shoal Farm.
Thank you. Wickerson, thank you. City staff, city council, good evening. How are you? Just wanted to give you a brief update of the 2022 year that we had, and also a 3-year summary of where we are currently. As you can see, there's actually a logo up there on the screen. We actually developed a logo this year that was consistent to the city logo and to the Big Shoal Heritage Area logo, that circle and the same look. I had a friend who owns an advertising agency that I called a favor in on, and it cost me a little bit of sweet corn, but I think they did a nice job. So. Anyway, where were we? This last year we had planned for 4.5 acres of sweet corn, 1.25 acres of sunflowers, and 1.25 acres of pumpkins. The highlights of this last year, we had additional exposure for Gladstone Farmers Market and the Atkins Johnson Farmer Museum. The first Saturday that we were out there with sweet corn, they actually had 470 some visitors to the farmers market there that day as well. So it's bringing a number of people in there to that market. I think they had several other days that were at least that much or higher with the crops there, so that was positive. There's space for ag education. We've had over 200 kids there this year and adults visiting the farm, sessions on crops. Mary Newman, the Big Shoal Heritage Area Manager, has really done a nice job and a proactive job in getting students and schools involved and active in bringing groups there, so it's really been helpful. It's kind of been exciting to see what's happened with that education piece of the farm, and we could do a lot more and probably will be in the future. Mary just told me tonight that she had another request from Heritage School in Liberty, I think it is. They had another 113 kids they wanted to bring in November, so I'm not sure if we can accommodate that because of the crops not being there and not having indoor space to manage that number, but we'll see what happens. If not, maybe we'll get them there next spring. We provided employment for 19 4-H kids and other high school kids. We generated income for Gladstone and the Friends of the Farm, and I'll share those totals with you here later on. What we produced, we had 527 bushels of sweet corn we produced this year, which was a little over 2,600 dozen. We also donated, in addition to that, 237 dozen to harvesters after the harvest, Synergy Services, and the fire stations here in Gladstone. We also had 300 bouquets of sunflowers. Our financial overview, total income was about $25,000. Our growing expenses were about $10,000. $2,000 of that is actually stuff that we needed to buy for next year. The sweet corn hybrid that we used is actually being eliminated by the company we purchased it from. I was able to buy some that was carryover, that was grown this year, that I can use for next year. So that was almost $2,000 right there. Our labor costs were about $9,500. And again, that all went to those kids that work for us, and I think it's really great that we can offer them that opportunity. Our net income was about $5,500, a little over. Citizens served, I thought you might be interested in that. We had over 2,800 customers who purchased sweet corn this last year. In addition to that, the 205 dozen were donated to those groups after the harvest and harvesters and Synergy Services. And those dozen actually impacted 1,000 people or more. So you could actually add that to the total. In addition to that, we helped out 40 firefighters and 40 Gladstone employees that were provided sweet corn here out of the office. We had 340 customers who purchased sunflowers, and we had hundreds more that came out and visited the field. Issues that we had some dry weather this year that I think all of you know about. It did impact the farm. We actually lost all of our pumpkins this year. And I think all of you knew that, but we're going to plan to move forward with that next year. We did start a couple festivals this year. We had a sunflower festival that brought over 410 people out to the site just for that day. We had art for the kids. We had some vendors there that were offering sunflower-focused themed products. And we also had the crops that we sold that year as well, or that day as well. We had planned for a pumpkin festival as well, but because of us losing the pumpkins, couldn't do that. I just think that really gives us another opportunity to develop more sales for next year. We also were approached by a TV station, Fox 4, approached us to come out and do a story on the sunflowers. It was right after the last day of our flowers, and so we told them, look, let's just do that next year. We'll do it early, and that'll give us more exposure for the city. An enclosed structure would really provide a lot more opportunity for us to do more programming. I mentioned the fact that Mary had 115 kids that wanted to come out. It's really going to be difficult for us to do that in November without an enclosed space. You know, a space like that could really be used all season and could be used for other events in the city, you know, weddings, et cetera. And I think it could be a moneymaker for the city as well. But that really would be helpful for the farm if we had that opportunity. Wanted to provide you a 3-year summary. Like I said, we've been out there for 3 years now, and in that total time, we've produced more than 8,000 dozen ears of corn. We've had more than 8,000 pumpkins those 2 years, and over $10,000 of sunflower revenues. We generated over $70,000 of total sales over those 3 years, with net profits of over $10,000. Students visiting the farm for programming, we had over 800 so far over those 3 years. With about 200 adults at the same time. During those 3 years, we provided jobs to more than 60 school kids and paid them over $25,000 in wages. Customers that were served by the farm are over 10,000 right now. We also supported 6 nonprofits over those 3 years with sweet corn and pumpkins, et cetera. We provided pumpkins to the zoo, actually, for the last couple of years. Couldn't do it this year, of course, but that gets us some additional publicity, too. And we're also getting people already who want to come and visit the farm next year. I mentioned Mary. The North Kansas City school system has approached us as well to set dates for 2023 already, so I think that's positive. What we're doing with that logo, I wanted to share with you, too. We actually developed vests that our employees wear just to get more exposure for the farm, et cetera, and identify them as workers there also. So what questions do you have?
Go ahead. I don't have a question. I just have comments. I just want to extend my personal thanks, Eugene, for all of the amazing efforts that you've contributed over these past 3 years. I think I express, at least for me, and I think probably for everybody else, that you can hardly wait for the corn to come every year because it's such a treat. And the sunflowers, personally, for me, are just such a real treasure. I love coming out there every week and picking them and having them in my home. It's seeing all those happy faces is a really, really cool thing, I think. And I'm super sad about the pumpkins this year, but we hope that Mother Nature will cooperate a little better for us all next year. I think that through the plantings and the festivals and everything, you have brought more people to the farm who would never have engaged in the farm and maybe never even have engaged in Gladstone. So you've done an amazing, remarkable job, and hopefully as we progress, we can do something to try to make possible a venue out there, an enclosed venue that will, and I think the city manager has some comments in his update tonight for us about our council goals. So I know what an effort it is to be an urban farmer, and you have just exceeded beyond anybody's wildest expectations. So I thank you for all that you've done. It's been amazing. Great for the city.
Thanks. It's been fun working with the kids, too. I mean, to see them get involved like they have been and working, and I've really been surprised at the quality of the workers that we've had. Yeah, been good.
Thank you.
Very good.
Any other comments or questions?
She said it all.
Yeah, I'm anxious to hear the update on the enclosed structure. Great statistics. I mean, the public relations we've gotten from this project alone has been worth all the effort. You know, the television, you know, even if we missed it this year, the ones last year were just phenomenally good, made Gladstone look great whether we were trying or not. I mean, the whole thing has just been a complete success, so yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's amazing at how many people come from a distance to buy the produce.
Yep.
We've had people as far away as South Dakota end up with some things. That's good.
Thank you, Eugene.
Thank you, Mr. Suter. Mayor, if I could present item number 2.
Please.
In your packet is a 9-page memo. I will not read that to you tonight, so rest assured about that. I did want to just kind of highlight the City Council goals as we go into October 26th goal-setting session and sort of hit the highlights of progress so far. So the first goal is keep Gladstone a safe place with a focus on crime reduction, traffic enforcement, and the recruitment and retention of high-quality police officers, firefighters, and EMS personnel. So first you need to know that the emergency services function has gone through a ton of transition over the last year or 18 months. With the retirement of the Director of Public Safety, the separation of the departments into a police and fire department in a traditional sense, and the employment of a new police chief, the function has been impacted significantly. With that, the complete command staff is new in the police department, yet they're making significant strides in establishing a culture of support and accountability. While there's been some difficulty, I have no doubt that our police department will be the pride of not only this county, but all counties in the metropolitan region in short order. So no pressure, Chief Ferris. In order to help improve communication with the City Council and the public, we presented a reporting chart that talks about the crime over time, modeled after our financial report. There'll be both bars, charts, and numbers, as well as narrative that explains what the approach is moving forward and what may have happened in the previous quarter. That first report will be presented to the Council after the first quarter of 2023, so that we have reliable statistics from which to compare to. Probably most significant in the emergency services is that in 2022, the City Council approved a budget that contains significant wage adjustments for specific benchmark positions. Among those were police officers, firefighters, paramedics, maintenance workers, and things like that. It's had an impact, a very positive impact. There are 48 positions budgeted as commissioned officers, 48 commissioned officer positions budgeted. At the peak, there were 14 vacancies. Today, there are 3. Communication officers was another benchmark position. There are 9 budgeted positions there. At the peak, there were 4 vacant, and now there are 0 vacancies. In animal control, there were 3 budgeted positions. Peak vacancy was 2, so that's a lot, 2 out of 3, and now there are 0. On the fire side, 39 budgeted positions. At the peak, 10 vacancies, and currently 2 vacancies. So not only are we a great place to work, we've made our wage package competitive, and it's paying dividends in leaps and bounds. Goal number 2 is implementation of parks, cultural arts, facilities, streets, sidewalks, stormwater, water distribution, and production of water systems and comprehensive master plans. I won't go through all of this, but I did want to highlight a couple of things. Funding for streets and sidewalks continues to be a priority. Approximately $1.4 million was spent last year to rehabilitate 22 lane miles of city street. This year's program was enhanced by ARPA funding and will approach $2 million. And then secondly, over 7,000 linear feet of water mains at a cost of $1.1 million were replaced, with another 9,000 feet planned for replacement this year. So we're just focusing on the basic services, and when the economy gets tough and when there's pandemics and things like that, the ability to buckle down and focus on the basics, I think, has served us well. Goal number 3 is continued commitment to downtown and commercial corridors through effective and innovative development and redevelopment strategies. There's a laundry list of projects there, including the new hotel, Parkside at Hobby Hill, North Eagle, the Ice Center of Gladstone, North Kansas City Early Education Center Phase 2, Fire Station number 2, Police Headquarters, Gladstone Foods, Van Chevrolet, Gladstone Dodge, Jeep and Ram, all provided either new or significant remodel investments in our community. Goal number 4 from the Council is to prioritize proactive residential and commercial code enforcement. I'm going to cut to the chase here and just share dollars with you. In July 2018 to June 30, 2019, we abated $9,460 worth of properties, meaning that we went to their properties and mowed their grass or trimmed their trees or picked up their trash. In 2022 to June 30th, 2023, the abatement costs are estimated to be $80,000. So that's activity, and that's putting your money where your mouth is as it relates to code enforcement. So thank you for your support of that. That shows up as a lien on the property owner's taxes, so we are reimbursed virtually 100% of those costs. Goal number 5, prioritize infrastructure for neighborhood revitalization to meet the needs of our residents, encourage quality residential density and homeowner investment to preserve and increase housing values. To that extent, $16,212,000 worth of improvements were made by Gladstone single-family property owners this year. So we're very proud of that number. Create a long-term development and programming plan for Atkins Johnson Farm and Museum to make it sustainable. That's goal number 6. You just heard a big piece of that from Mr. Suter, and Mary and Justin have done a great job re-envisioning the farm. The covered porch, we have $180,000 set aside to do something out there. One idea was to do a covered shelter. One idea was to do a barn. It's not enough money for either one of those, so at goal setting we'll present to you some concepts and business models involving how a venue could be programmed to pay the debt service on it. So give us a chance to do that. Hopefully on the 26th we'll have some better information about how we can transition a business model into a model that's self-sustaining at AJ. Goal number 7, branding strategy to effectively promote Gladstone. This has evolved into a discussion primarily about the city seal. We're working on a process to help facilitate the project moving forward. You'll hear more about that on the 26th. But we have an exercise planned at your goal setting session to facilitate a conversation about the city seal. One of the most important goals of the council is promote diversity, equity, and inclusion, all that we do to continue to be a welcoming city to everyone. Just a couple of key stats here. In the fire department from 2020 to present, staff increased the female to male ratio from 18% to 27%. That's a significant jump. In the police department from 2022 to the present, we increased the female-male ratio from 17% to 22%, while increasing the number of minority groups represented. So both statistics in our biggest departments to be proud of for sure. In addition, over the last year, staff worked with 2 employees who intended to transition from one gender to another. That's something new we haven't had to deal with very much before, and I'm proud of the way we've handled it. In the memo is a very long list of training opportunities, but I wanted to highlight police post-training hours for law enforcement in 2021 and 22. The required training included diverse communities bias prevention, bias-based racial profiling, fair and impartial policing, implicit bias and ethics, all of those in the diversity and inclusion heading. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions, and as always, we're looking forward to the October 26th goal-setting session.
Mr. City Manager, any questions? Comments? Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for wrapping up by 7:30.
Yeah. Coincidence.
We'll take about a 30-second break, and then we'll start our regular meeting at 7:30 promptly. Gladstone City Council and call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, members of the City Council are present with the exception of Council Member Spallo, and we have a quorum. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The next item is the approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting. We have a short agenda with 2 resolutions. Does anyone have any changes for tonight's agenda? Seeing none, although the agenda is approved. Item 5 is approval of the minutes from the September 26, 2022 closed City Council meeting.
Mayor Garnes.
Councilman Mallon.
I move for the approval of the minutes from the September 26, 2022 closed City Council meeting.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Is there any discussion? Being none, all those in favor of approving the September 26, 2022 closed City Council meeting minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The minutes are hereby approved. Item 6 is approval of the minutes from the September 26, 2022 regular City Council meeting.
Mayor Garnes.
Councilman Mallon.
I move for the approval of the minutes from the September 26, 2022 regular City Council meeting.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the September 26, 2022 regular City Council meeting minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The minutes are hereby approved. Item number 7, communications from the audience. Is there any member of the audience that would like to address City Council on a matter that is not on this evening's agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to communications from City Council. Councilman Smith.
I have nothing, thank you.
Councilman Mallons.
No comments this evening.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to take a moment to honor the life of Ray Brock. Ray was a longtime dedicated Northlander, and throughout his 92 years touched the lives of so many in this community through his time and talents and generosity. He leaves behind a beautiful legacy. I feel honored and especially blessed to have called Mr. Brock my friend. He and I enjoyed many coffees and visits together, and each of them was an absolute treasure. His spirit and kindness were infectious. I'm very saddened by his loss and extend my deepest sympathies to his wife, 4 daughters, his sons-in-law, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. He will be very missed. Finally, I would like to extend my thanks and appreciation to Justin Murky and all of the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts team for the amazing Saturday Night Whiskey Fest. This event just grows bigger and better every year, and like all the festivals and events we create, there's so much going on to make this happen behind the scenes that we don't even know about. And I just want to recognize all of those who work so hard to make this another great success for the city. Thank you.
Thank you. I feel like I've been giving out a lot of thank yous also lately, and wanted to thank Amy Harlan and the Chamber ambassadors for all of their efforts organizing GladFest. We had some challenges this year with the construction around City Hall, and I missed not having the parade, but I thought the community pep rally went very well. Wanted to thank all of our Gladstone City staff and the other volunteers who worked so hard getting everything set up. Since our last meeting, we also had the privilege of attending the dedication of Fire Station number 2, another milestone in the history of the city of Gladstone. I'm sorry Mayor Pro Tem Moore couldn't be there. As I said there was no one person that made this facility a reality, but Gene, you've probably done as much as any one person for making our city's dream into a reality. So thank you, and I wish you could have seen the appreciation of our firefighter paramedics and the townsfolks and the parents and the kids that were there at the dedication, because you deserve it. I had the privilege of meeting with all of the second graders from Oak Hill Day School during their field trip to City Hall. They all came with prepared questions. I want to thank Becky for helping to put together the program for the little darlings and saving me. And for future reference, let me also mention that Councilman Mallums would have been way better at that than I was. And then also thank you to Director Murky for another great Whiskey Fest. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor, thank you. Great comments about Mr. Brock. Not only was he all the things that you said, Mayor Pro Tem Moore, he was a friend and a respected business icon of our community. And I had a chance to talk to his daughter, Ellen, last week, and she just went on and on about how Mr. Brock really felt about our city. Even though he was from Liberty, Gladstone was a close second. So we're proud of that. Whiskey Fest went fantastically. Thank you to Justin and all involved. Over 500 tasting tickets were sold. So that's pre-COVID numbers for reference. The fall edition of the Gladstone magazine is being finalized and will reach residents in November. And we're hosting a Plagathon, which is a Swedish concept that combines picking up trash with jogging and walking. Mark is hosting the competition to see how many volunteers each city can get and how much trash we can pick up. So that's coming up on October 16th. Hope to see everybody out there. 8 o'clock, I think, right, Justin? Right. 8 o'clock.
Thank you. We'll move on to item 10, Resolution R-22-52, a resolution authorizing acceptance of work under contract with David E. Ross Construction Company for the Water Treatment Plant East Secondary Basin Emergency Repair Project and authorizing final payment in the amount of $10,596 for project WP 2385.
Mayor Garnis.
Councilman Smith.
We approve Resolution R-22-52.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution R-22-52. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting Resolution R-22-52 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The resolution is hereby adopted. Item number 11 is Resolution R-22-53, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with Nationwide Turf Installation in the total amount not to exceed $189,614 for the Happy Rock Park Trail Replacement Project CP2358C.
Mayor Garnis.
Mayor Pro Tem Moore.
I move for the adoption of Resolution R-22-53.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution R-22-53. Is there any discussion? I have to say this is one of the projects that I am most excited about because this is going to complete the trail around Happy Rock East.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that puts us in a world-class park to have that trail, that nice trail going all the way around it. I think people are going to love it, and this is going to get us there. So I'm just really excited to see this. Any further comments, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting Resolution R-22-53 signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Resolution is hereby adopted. Is there any other business for City Council this evening? If not, we are adjourned. We will reconvene in 2 weeks for our regular meeting. Go Chiefs.
Okay, so I can't help but laugh that